everyone. Ashley May, Mike Beer here, taking a look at another stakes preview for this Saturday at Churchill Downs. Saturday, November 29th. It's the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. But before we dive into this field of 7, just a reminder that the DRF shop is having a sale for Black Friday. You can get 20% off with the coupon code BF2025. And mentioned Grade 2 action this Saturday at Churchill. Mike, this is a good field. I know it's just a field of 7, but we're thinking 2-year-olds. We're thinking the Triple Crown Trail next year. Mailloux 16th here on the dirt, and a couple of horses come in here off of convincing performances.
Yeah, listen, I guess as far as the likely favorite of this race goes, the number 6, Further Ado. If he runs the race that he ran last time, he's probably just going to come right back and win again, actually. But there's some other things going on in here. I just like the 2-year-old races at this time of the year because it seems like finally these horses now have a little bit of a foundation. They've all run a few times. You have a sort of a better idea of how you can evaluate their talent.
And a couple of them stretched out. Whether they've gone 2 turns yet is remained to be unseen, and that'll be a test for a couple of them come Saturday. But we'll look at the time form U.S. pace projector for this field, and this is where I think things get quite interesting. We talked about some horses maybe stretching out to 2 turns for the first time. That includes the 3, Dr. Kapur. The 4, Soldier and Diplomat, comes off a nice win, but that's the 1-turn mile at Churchill. And also the 2, Cherokee Nation, comes in from out west off a second place finish at the mile distance.
Yeah, the pace is a little bit complicated here. It'll be interesting to see how aggressive some of these riders get in this race. I feel like, at least in the case of Cherokee Nation, the Baffert horse, who is a maiden shipping in, but this horse was very aggressively ridden last time. He showed a lot of speed in that race to contest the pace. I'd be surprised if Baffert and Pratt changed it up too much here.
You can see the LP late pace flag is attached to the 5, a very connected 1 of 2 in the field for Kenny McPeak. We'll dive into it, though, with the number 1 Spice Runner for Steve Asmussen. 5th last time out against Grade 1 competition. We know how productive that race was. Ted Nafi goes on to score at Breeders' Cup. But prior to that, I actually thought the effort in the Iroquois was quite good. I'm starting to wonder, though, what your thoughts are in terms of now second time going long. This also is a little bit of class relief.
I guess it is. Yeah, I don't know. He was very disappointing in the Breeders' Futurity last time. Not, maybe you weren't even expecting him to be that competitive against Ted Nafi, but he never really landed a blow in that race. I wasn't thrilled with his Iroquois. Really didn't like his start at Ellis Park prior to that at all. I don't know. I'm just not really sure how good this horse is, actually. Not sure that more distance, 2 turns and longer distances are actually going to play to his advantage going forward. I thought he was kind of hard to like in this race.
It's worth noting he's 2 for 3 locally at Churchill Downs. The 2, Cherokee Nation, up next. You mentioned aggressively ridden in that second career start. It was on the stretch out coming from Del Mar to Santa Anita. He comes up a nose short, but I think it bodes well, and there's a lot of confidence that he comes out east now. He's still a maiden, going to tackle Grade 2 competition. And I guess the expectations would be high with a purchase price like that.
Yeah, I think you have to probably look at him that way. I mean, it's not like Baffert, lights the world on fire anymore. He used to ship these horses east, and they were like sort of almost automatic, and it's probably not the case anymore. But still, I think there's a maybe reason to have confidence in this horse. He did not look like a sprinter first time out. He really improved, I thought, quite a bit last time. Again, just aggressively ridden. He was just forced to contest the pace the entire way, while the winner of the race just sat right behind him in a perfect trip and came and closed him down late. And then, of course, Mr. AP comes back and runs second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile with a 96 Beyer speed figure. It really, I think, gives you maybe some confidence that Cherokee Nation, he might be even better than he looks on paper.
The 3, Dr. Kapur, we'll take a look at his most recent performance. It was his second career start and ends up being a pretty productive race. Mike, there's 2 next out winners, both graduated at the meet and special weight ranks. But once again, this horse showed that early foot, kind of played to his advantage in here. He draws clear. I think it's a good performance. I think obviously now has to answer the 2-turn test, but did take a step forward.
Yeah, he's got some questions to answer for sure. Up in class for this and stretching out around 2 turns for the first time. But I think it's pretty easy to like both of his starts so far. He ran really well first time out at Saratoga, ran, I thought, even better in that race that we just watched right there. He's got some questions to answer, but he's got a chance to be pretty good.
The 4, Soldier and Diplomat, was able to deliver as the favorite last time out at Churchill in that first level allowance optional claiming event. And I mean, he poured it on. He's a 9-length winner. It was sort of the start of the fall meet there at Churchill. I thought it was a huge performance. I think, the expectations were probably high knowing that he won on debut and then went to the hopeful. But now I'm curious to see how he'll fare around 2 turns. I know that's sort of a common theme, but I still think he needs to take a little bit of a step forward.
Yeah, I feel the same way about it. He looked really good winning that race last time. I'm a little conflicted about it just because as visually impressive as it was, it's not like it was a super fast race. And then, I just started picking through the field that he beat there, looking at the horses and formulator that finished behind him, and it kind of feels like he faced a really weak field last time and just did what he was supposed to do to them.
Yeah, the only horse I was really looking forward to in there was Trip's Promise off the debut, and he was second best behind this one. So agree with your thoughts there on the field. At the beginning of the meet there at Churchill on the 26th, the 5 very connected. Mentioned it with the pace projector, the LP flag is attached to him. He's 1 of 2 in the field for Kenny McPeak. He really hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, his debut, I don't want to hold it against him because it's a debut over a very speed favoring track there at Colonial. And I've actually liked his 3 performances. I'm just, kind of concerned in here. Does the pace come back to him? I know there's a lot of speed in here, but when we kind of saw the way the pace projector spreads the field out, I am concerned he's going to have too much work to do, at least for the top spot.
I feel the same way about him. I mean, maybe he'll get a setup here and he'll come running at the end of this and get another piece. But to me, that was the case in the street sense. That was a really competitive pace. It may not look like it was that fast on paper, but that was a competitive pace. The winner came from last to first and closed that field down. And this horse was off the pace the entire way. He never looked like he was going to win. And he just sort of, I thought, sucked up for third at the end. I just didn't think that he ran that well last time. Maybe it looks like he ran well on paper. I didn't think that he did.
The 6, Further Ado here, a son of Gunrunner, another son of Gunrunner in the field. We'll take a look at his most recent performance, and we'll take a look at it for a couple of reasons. Obviously, the 98 Buyer jumps off the page. I think the 20-length win margin does as well, Mike, and he does look very professional here. Sometimes I kind of look at these performances and I want to nitpick, but I really don't think he did anything wrong.
I feel the same way. I mean, it's one of those situations too, like they were actually going early in this race. A bunch of horses felt like they wanted to go to the lead. He was one of them, but he just kept right up there. A bunch of the others just fell off and were forced to do the chasing. This horse never looked like he was going to lose. He was still traveling strongly around the final turn, and you saw the stretch run there. We just showed you, just romped over that race. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to back it up, actually, but it's a pretty hard race to pick apart.
And sometimes when you see margins like that, it's a 4 or 5 horse field. It was a field of 12. So I think there's a lot to like about that performance, especially the fact that it was also his first time going long. The 7 Universe is going to round out the field here. He came up a little bit short in the street sense. Now, kind of looking at very connected, you mentioned probably getting the setup that he needed. He wasn't able to deliver. Does that mean that you like Universe a little bit more knowing that he was involved early?
Yeah, I mean, listen, in my personal opinion, whether it turns out to be right or wrong, he ran the best race in the street sense. He just happened not to win. I just thought he ran really, really well within the context of that race, and he was an unlucky loser. He is going to have to run better than that, it seems like, against this field, but this horse is okay, and he's coming off of an underrated performance.
And he was third in the Champagne prior to that in this Grade 1 Waters. That's the field of 7 for the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club Stakes. We will move to our top selections here in this event. And it's kind of an interesting event. You either probably love the 6 and you believe he's going to replicate it, or you don't. And I just feel like when we go to that replay, you look at the numbers, you look at the size of that field, it's hard for me to choose anyone else. For me, if I was going to use anyone else, it was going to be the 7 Universe. And I just thought there was much more to like about the 6.
Yeah, me too. I feel I took a long look at Universe. I thought about taking him. I probably am not going to bet him in this race, though, so I don't want to put him on top. The other horse for me was the Baffert horse, who I do think has a chance to improve, but it's Baffert and Pratt with an inside post. He's not going to be any kind of price in this race. I'm going to chalk it out here with Further Ado. I'm probably not going to bet him. I'm very interested to see what he does, though, as he tries to back up that big win.
Mike and I both on the 6 Further Ado here. 6-2-7-3 for Mike, 6-7-4-3 for me. It's race number 10 this Saturday out at Churchill. Good luck.